Yeah, and you better get some honey when you take them because they're not easy to take. I guess people have been reporting, your team and the conclave, that all over the internet people are setting themselves on fire because somebody said Q wasn't real. They're pulling their hair out, they're banging their head, and they are especially taking every cheap pot shot at us that they can. By the way, the ASA is the NSA. That's the only pot shot that had any, Army Security Agency is part of the National Security Agency.
Okay, that's a detail that most people don't really
I'm
care
telling
about.
You, of all the things I've heard, that's the only thing that needed to be clarified except for these notes that we're going to go over. Now,
okay.
Straighten me out on this, Betsy. Conclave's already reported in, but it was a while ago. They say still there's no action on QAnon.hub. The Great Awakening board where they post is
Well, no, they
gone.
don't post there. Oh, yeah, that one is gone. The link that we send our readers to is just a clean page where all you can do is look at the Anon post because most people don't know how to read these Chan boards.
And then I say some of them are telling me that there's some type of post saying that they've moved to a different site. They're moving. Okay. And so that's all well and good.
And when they move, we'll be following them.
Now, as I told you from the beginning, if I'm going to do QAnon, which I never wanted to, I'm being forced to do
Well,
this.
we have to because it's a psyop operation against a lot of people who are not suspecting this.
We were involved in this. We didn't choose this, okay? We did not choose this. And I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm being red-pilled as I go along. First off, I want to say to... can I say their name?
Yeah.
Peggy? Mm-hmm. Peggy? I wondered why Jerome Corsi and Q were saying a few weeks back Assange was free and removed to Switzerland. Now this week, he is clearly still in Ecuadorian embassy, I'm reading it as it is, in London without internet and visitor privileges. My concern is, with all the headlines on alt media and Q site, nothing changes at all in reality. Correct, Peggy. That is why most people... go away from Q. Their predictions are incorrect. And they predict these crazy predictions. Okay, how many times did they say that Assange was already smuggled out and he was in Switzerland? He's this and he's that. Wrong. That's my point. I want someone to please list 12 things that have been predicted by Q since they were taken over at the end of January. And please just prove it to me. That's all I ask. I've said this also. So thank you, Peggy, for clarifying that.
Now, people say that, but we like Q because we're learning a lot. Well, great. Come to the American intelligence media and you'll learn a heck of a lot more.
No, what they're learning, what they need to do, okay, folks, go to your Q posts. Take out the clear sentences. Ignore everything else you don't understand. That's the psyops. Read it. What does it tell you? It tells you it is an illegal operation working supposedly with Trump. No, Trump is an honest strategist. He would not be working against himself in this way and splitting America over this issue with false prophecies, with false predictions, with false nonsense, with saying there's a leaker in there. And now we have I'm going to call it the mainstream media of alt-right news says that they know exactly who Q is. It's a person, and this person works in the Army Intelligence Agency. There is no such thing. There's an Army Security Agency, is that what they mean? And that they know that it's a collective and that there's others in the Pentagon. These people are in the Pentagon. Oh, really? They're sending their little Q notes out from the most secure place in the entire universe, the Pentagon. That's pretty funny. But anyway, they also say that they know that there's a group somewhere in Florida that works with them, and it's a collective. But they know these people. If they know them, they're committing a crime by not turning them in, because these leaks are not whistleblowing leaks. They're not legal leaks. And they're leaks against Donald Trump. They're against his agenda, okay? So I don't know why anybody...
Well, now, people aren't going to buy that, Thomas. They say that it's all pro-Trump and MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. That's what people say. That's what they believe.
Is for Jesus. Really?
That's what they say.
Is Q talking about Jesus?
Yeah, well, that's a question to ask.
Is he saying, what's he saying about...
Ask him, is Jesus Christ your Savior? Ask Q that.
We presented 10 questions yesterday on the news site, Truth News Headlines, from someone who said if Q could answer these... And Q won't answer these because we already posed questions to Q about SES, Serco. Nothing, crickets. As a matter of fact, Q went quiet actually after we challenged Q and said, will you answer these things, please? And then what happens? My point here, to this gentleman who wrote in, which is just a genius.
Please acknowledge him. He wrote an extensive...
Limo Rec.
Yes, thank you.
Limo Rec. I'm reading your 6-point first because I'm going to listen to what you say. You are such a reasonable person, and you are right. And I'm going to explain why I do what I do. It says, I like Thomas and Betsy. It's just hard to follow the meandering. That would be me. And the unexpected yelling. That would be me. That happens. Very little is presented in a linear fashion. She tries to keep me linear, sorry, but I do not want to keep watching them for now. That's okay. Jerome Corsi is not much better, and his videos decoding Q are mostly fiddling around with the chat windows and impromptu housekeeping tasks while streaming. It's truly an awful presentation for viewers. It's like watching your granddad check his email. Well, I'm going to try because of you, because you are the only one who was sent in. Out of everyone I challenged, I challenged all of them. Any Q interpreters, please send us in a message to show that I'm wrong. You sent in the most amazing message. We're going to go over it in a minute.
And it's so good. I'm going to separate it out as a post, and then it'll be linked to in the box below.
Okay, it's good, but I'm going to have to go point by point. But I'm not going to give my points by writing it out. I'm just going to give it orally.
No. I'm just saying, so if people want to read this later.
Okay. This one's from BJ. It says post 975 was... Oh, first off, let's go over a mistake. While we were giving our last Q interpretations, one more Q note came in, and it was a posting of an article about Hillary Clinton that was so stale, we wouldn't even post it on our site. So I don't know what that was about, but it's been explained to me what all that was about. And as I said as I went along, I didn't know. I've never been there. Okay, anyway.
Well, that's how irrelevant we find these Q posts to be, frankly.
I have begged all Conclave members to bring me one single correct prediction from Q. There has yet to be one brought to me.
And if things
so
aren't
it couldn't
brought
get
to
my
us,
attention.
They just don't clear the thing,
A few weeks ago, they made me read the whole thing, and early on I looked at it and I thought it was a wonderful puzzle, and I followed it for a short while. And then I think in early October, or late October maybe, I thought, oh, something's happened. It's been taken over. I'm not interested anymore. Post 975 was not by Q. I'm sorry if I made a mistake on that. I was just reading along like an idiot. You guys really know so little and try so hard to act smart. We're not smart about this. We're smart about a lot of other things. I am ignorant about this. I told everyone. I've never even been on 8chan, 4chan. I've never gone to the Q Hub post, and I couldn't get there now if I had to. I'm depending upon other people.
But we're just using critical thinking to take what is said, not the platform it's on, and not just what it said, and saying, let's use our critical thinking to discern whether this is fake or truth.
Correct. Post 975 was not by Q. Okay, all right, I'm sorry. I'm not even going to look at it now. I'm sure you're right. Anyone can tell by the trip code used to identify. I don't even know what the trip code is. Q is highlighted in blue. Thank you. I didn't know that. Also, please note, Q's reply is you failed. Obviously, whoever did that, who took down the 3 sites at one time to demonstrate to me that they were the person who sent me the message in the bottle, and I told you that's all I really know, that except contacting the cicada people, and DeFango, is we like Betsy and Thomas. They were being mean to you. That's all I know. Okay, and then a little other things I've surmised from conversations with some of these people. You failed. I don't think they failed. Am I wrong? If all 3 went down at once, and then all the interpreters ignore that, all the Q people set themselves on fire rather than say, oh my goodness, look, Great Awakening went down. They say it is killed. It's being moved. Now we hear that, somebody tells me here that the hub is gone. It's being rebuilt, and it will come up. And that's what I was told from the beginning. It'll only go down for a minute, and it was to demonstrate to us that they're real. And to tell the rest of the world, you mess with Betsy and Thomas. I don't know. Is that what they were telling us? I don't know. Anyway, how come all the interpreters missed the biggest post on the page?
Oh, yeah, they all do. You go,
which has our name at the bottom. It says that what
right.
we said was true.
And it calls out the evil cabal. Jeff Sessions, Robert Mueller, the whole list. But all you guys out there that are interpreting Q, you just like, well, let's just skip over and go over to the next post.
Isn't it Jeff Sessions, the Department of Justice, who should have found this leaker that's been leaking since the beginning of Q? How much of a blind department is that? Why can't the FBI find the leakers? If we now know exactly where they are, why don't they, and certain people in the mainstream media alt-left media say they know exactly who they are. Why don't they arrest that person and take them in? And then somebody says that's because Trump's on the side of the leaker. Impossible. Trump can't say I'm going to commit a crime because I'm the president.
That's correct.
That's stupid. And it is against his agenda. Okay? Oh, by the way, when you see evil and when you see wrong in you, if you don't get wrathful, not angry, but if you do not become wrathful, you do not have love in you. If you see someone being beaten and you don't get the wrath in you to go stop that person from beating that poor person, that shows you have no love. That's the reason I get really upset when I see horribly awful things. Yes. Okay, so Silly Thomas can suck it all back in. If you think, you see, people always look for one wrong thing in somebody's argument and then they write them off. So you've said, I said one thing wrong, which I told you I didn't know what I was talking about. So you've written me off. That's fine. Q is not dead. Never said, we made the joke that Q was dead because all 3 sites went down at once.
Q is dead because it's been unmasked as a Psyop operation. So that's what we mean. Now, this entity may come back up and continue to post, but hopefully we've red-pilled enough of the community that you'll start asking questions. For example, it is my understanding, I don't know this for a fact, but I've heard it from various sources, that Q has collected quite a large evangelical community within it. So evangelical community, when Q starts posting again, you need to ask Q, is Jesus Christ your personal Savior? He's ours.
Yep.
Is it Q's?
Correct. And if you don't understand, for all those people who tried to reveal who we are, go look at our other work. And by the way, you found one of about 20.
20? Oh my goodness, we have so much up there.
Okay. I'm not going to go there, but we are totally Christian, that's for sure. But I'm also a universalist. So, I believe in Christianity pervades all religions, love. So Q is not dead. Metaphorically, we were making that point, as you pointed out. Simply moving into new digs. All at once. So they all got killed. They said they were killed. That's the words. They were killed. They didn't move all at once, even though I now understand from the geniuses that they were comped and they've been compromised for a while. But then they, Tracy Beans.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of her name.
What was her issue? She has interviewed the 2 people, I'm told here, Trip Monkey and Baruch, and they're the site managers. Didn't we get contacted by all of those people?
Yeah, a lot of tons of people. I can't recall.
Over and over and over again,
yeah. Begging
to talk with us, begging to interview us. We're not going there. We stay to our truth and what we know. If I can't vet you, I'm not going to interview you. Like the person who recorded me without my knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
That was a joke. That wasn't. I knew I was being recorded. That was on purpose. And now look what's happening.
The $21 million lady had her right-hand man interview you, and we, said, well, sure, and we're going to put it up on your YouTube site. And they said, no, well, we leave it for our private viewers. And I said, well, that's cool, but we have to let our viewers know what Thomas says. So they provided us a transcript. And so we've placed that transcript on our site. You might want to go see it because the $21 trillion lady is working tooth and nail for us to get this removed. And you have to wonder why. So the question I pose, and it's something that I haven't researched, but what is her connection to senior executive services? And that's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Because we haven't done the research. We've got a lot of geologists and miners out there who can. And if you find anything, bring it to us. Because we need to start paying attention to who is feeding us our intelligence in this alternative media landscape.
And that's why we put the questions up. Ask your intelligence source these questions, or whether they've ever addressed these questions, because these are the cutting edge questions. Plus, we put up 10 questions for Q, which we assume will never be answered. But Q will not answer, because those 10 questions were written by the original Cicada group to demonstrate that they're different than what's going on now. So they're moved into new digs. Yeah, they're moving into new digs. They said, but nobody's talking about that. Isn't that funny? The whole Q world is quiet about that. Q world is quiet about the fact that they said Jeff Sessions was leading this, that all 3 sites are compromised. They put up some posts, some URLs that they say demonstrated. I don't know. I thought it was anonymous. I said anonymous because it was anonymously posted, but I know it was anonymous because Anonymous contacted us in a way that only Anonymous could. Also, big warning, flash, flash, flash. There's a new Anonymous, out there begging you to turn in your leaks to them.
Yes.
That is a psyops.
Yes. Be
Do
very
not
careful.
go to Proton. Do not turn any leaks.
When you say Proton, that they have an email that's something
Yes.
and then Proton. Okay.
Do not go to that email. Do not turn in leaks. If you're a leak, follow whistleblower rules. We have, many of us have, and we get real incredible action. But the point is, leaking when you have a top secret security clearance and you're in the military, if you're in the Army intelligence agency, do you mean the Army security agency that would only have very limited access? They don't even have necessarily access to, Stellar Wind and all the NSA programs. And saying you're in the ASA or the Army intelligence agency doesn't mean jack. Certainly doesn't mean you know everything. Read the clear messages from Q. The one that upset me the most was, and I started yelling about, it says, "We know everything. And only we know everything. We know all things. You must follow us."
Well, that seems very anti-Christian to me, because they're setting themselves up to be your God, Lord, and Savior.
Yep. It's impossible to imagine, as Thomas suggested, Q was operating without Trump's knowledge and approval. No, it's not. He's been in a war with the intelligence agencies since day one. He doesn't even take his reports from the intelligence agencies. Are you paying attention here? This is a war. Trump is in a war, and Q is part of the intelligence, the corporate intelligence and international intelligence, I believe, I'm not sure, but that's what it looks like by the way it goes, to convince us to go against hidden, secret Trump strategies that only Q is telling us because Q is talking to Trump. Lie. That is the worst psyop. I should start screaming right now. If you aren't waking up to that psyops, take a red pill, folks. You just took a bottle of blue pills if you hear what I just told you, because this is the law. This is Trump. This is what he's demonstrated. He's not giving out stupid leaks that are wrong. Why would Trump tell you that Gitmo is filled with people when it's not? We had people accidentally who happened to be there who said there's 6 people in there. That's it.
Well, he has a Twitter account. If he felt that there was something important for people to know, he'd tweet it out.
Trump was tickled in announcing the operation, the calm before the storm. Why so hard to... The calm before the storm was him going to Saudi Arabia. It had nothing to do with the calm before the storm. It was because so many images went out about the storm that, yes, if someone didn't know it was all coming down when Trump decided to make the trip to Saudi Arabia, then they weren't paying attention to what was going on in Saudi Arabia. If you didn't know that the young prince was about to overthrow the old royalty that had gone so into Western decadence and corruption, if you couldn't have predicted that, then you weren't watching the news. We did. We predicted exactly what would happen, and it did happen. But why? It's not prediction. It's following logic. Why so hard to imagine? Because it's impossible to imagine. Trump is not part of it. This president twitters to reach his people, and that's, as Betsy just says, is how he does it. The 4 and 8 chans are the most closest to anonymous and free. Wrong. They get compromised more than any channel, than anything. And everybody's telling me that. These things are easy to compromise. It was a perfect place to host a gathering of supporters that would educate other people. They're not educating other people. Show me any education in these. It makes you look at current affairs. That's all it does. Period. There have been no truthful leaks. Please make a list of truthful leaks that showed you a prediction of the future since, say, January 1st, 2018, and or since they were taken over. Because the coming months will explode people's heads. I agree with you. If not prepared, could lead to violence. No, it's leading to violence. And Q is saying, sit back, relax, trust Jeff Sessions, trust the secret plan that we know that is Trump's plan. Whatever happens, whatever Trump says, don't believe him, believe us. We have the secret plan. The secret plan is Armageddon. The secret plan is Israel's bombing everybody now. That is not even being reported. Pay attention. The Chans were also selected because there were people there that were suited to do the detailed and obsessive work to assemble the clues to act wrong. So you're saying it's a collective and they all work together on that thing, then it's compromised from the beginning and it isn't secret and it isn't a leak and it isn't true. This is just a collective making up nonsense according to what you're saying. Links from what, because anybody can get in there, I'm told. Anybody can, it's compromised all the time. There's no secrecy there. Links from one group to another, a catalog of crime across time and across countries. There has been no catalog of crime. You want a catalog of crime? Go to Leaders for Americans for Innovation. Look at the timeline. Why are you saying this? There is no list of crimes ever with that.
No, but they certainly don't want you to look at this crime line. It was 17 years in the making. It has been highly researched, and it's filled with indictable documents. Oh my goodness, they don't want you to look there.
Massive amounts of data were assembled and organized. I don't think so. Look at our site. My goodness, you want some massive data. Ready to red pill. Ready to red pill. That's the point. They're telling you, sit back. We're going to red pill you in the future. And when we red pill you, you're not going to believe it. We're going to tell you it's okay to send 10,000 troops into Syria. Trump stopped that. Michael Flynn got fired for that because he stood up against Obama and said, you're not sending troops into Syria. That would have been Armageddon. Yeah, folks, Trump has stopped it. No, there's no red pilling. Trump's telling you the truth. And if you believe in Trump, you cannot possibly believe in the new Q Psyops because it is the opposite of Trump. It is a secret strategy that you are believing in. You're told to sit back, wait for the plan. There is no plan. Show me the plan.
We have a
What
plan.
a terrible Psyops. Who's a terrible Psyops? Are you now saying Q's or us? We're not a Psyops. We're completely transparent.
And we have a plan, and I'll put the link to that plan. You can divide up into teams and help us disclose this evil.
And if they're a terrible Psyops, I don't know why you're saying that. The members so busy with the digging and organizing that they forgot to eat and sleep. That's silly. Enormous enthusiasm for the country and the chasing of criminals. They have caught no criminals. There's supposedly a list now. There's 17,000 people on Jeff Sessions' secret plan list to indict all at once, and they're sending them to Gitmo, and they put in, I love this one. This is my favorite Q leak. After he said Gitmo's filling up, we looked, it wasn't, and they said after that, they're putting in wheelchair ramps at Gitmo to insinuate that Daddy Bush is going to Gitmo. You believe this stuff, folks? When I hear one of those, Trump has been involved in many confirmations and authentications of Q. I've seen none. Please print one. I've seen none. The picture out the window? Oh, no, that person got blackmailed for that. The picture of the pen on the desk? That's the blackmail. That's how they're getting inside leaks.
Yes.
And if you want the leaker, find the picture. If you can't find who posted that picture, it's only because the NSA has covered it up. You can find anything on the internet. I don't waste my time because it's 100. John McAfee said, there is nothing they can't do. There's nothing that's hidden. You are completely surveilled. And when you're targeted, you're gone. You're snuffed out. And to be clear, I don't know what that means. No.
Let's move on.
Q is not a person. Ha! We now have the experts saying they know the very person. The person. So,
no, they didn't say a person. They said a group in this
and
Army
then they said
thing.
that group, and then they had to top it off with one of them saying, I know the person personally.
Well, who is this Zach guy that always shows up speaking for Q?
Oh, no. I think, what's his name? Alex Jones once said that he was InfoWars Q, and then later he said he wasn't, and then he said he was, and then he said he wasn't. So anytime Alex Jones needs the floor for a Q drop, he uses Zach. Zach always tells you things that can't be proven. I can tell you things that can't be proven. How are you going to see if it's true?
But they're harder on you than they are with these other shills.
Oh, no, we're in a war. They're coming after us.
Yeah.
But we already exploded the shills who were going to come after us, so they're now imploding. Some of them are going to court today or tomorrow, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken. Q has also been authenticated by several other intel sources in intel circles. All intel circles from the government lie. I don't know what you're talking about. What other intel circles? No, Q has not been validated by anybody until we just validated the truth with so much proof that no one will look at it, and they drop off our site before they accidentally see the proof because they are Qites, and they'd rather set themselves on fire than to find out Q isn't
let's
true.
not be hard on folks, because when you're brainwashed, you don't know you've been brainwashed. You have been conned by a very sophisticated operation.
They are subliminally controlled. Read the words in clear language. Take out all the rest. That is the plan.
Example,
that is the plan. You are the the plan, folks who are reading it.
So, for example, there is a woman out there, her name is Michelle. She operates a YouTube site called Deception Bites, which is interesting title if you're going to be posting stuff about Q and deception. But she came out very fervently today to make sure her audience knew that she's in no way connected with the American intelligence media. And I did want to give her a shout out and let her audience know that we are not associated with her either. But Michelle, you seem like a God-fearing woman. You need to ask Q the question, is Jesus Christ your personal Savior? Now, make sure to ask it because you're a very smart woman. I've seen your videos, and I know that this is an important question your community will want to know.
And then they say something nice, but you must have an open mind because you are in a psyops. Only follow your two gurus. Do not investigate or validate. Stay quiet and passive and do what you are told. Thomas will let you know. Did you notice how they tried to write like Q? Isn't that cute? So they tried to subliminally program you. When you get awakened from that subliminal programming, it's very, very painful. And so I'm sorry that we're waking you up. And this person here, you made a couple valid points, but really, I think you're missing the mark. Now, the next one from, I don't think she's going to let me read this all, but...
No, you're not going to read it. It's so long.
He might enjoy me staying on track for once.
Okay.
Limo Wreck is his name.
You can stay on track, but I'm going to have the article posted so people can get the full flavor of the article. I think it is worth everyone's attention.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Because what he points out here is exactly what I said, but I guess he didn't hear me say this, so I want to clarify this. You're right, I know nothing about any of this. I said I know nothing about it. I'd never been to 4chan, 8chan, except maybe accidentally once. I'd never gone to the hub. I didn't know there was a thing called Great Awakening. So you were mistaken. So let me just correct you on that. But his first point is, it really seems Thomas has never once visited that board or perhaps even 8chan before. True, and that's why I made all those mistakes. And when I made them, I said, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just giving you my best guess off the top of my head.
And the reason is, the smart guys in the conclave never saw it as anything valid, so it never came to our attention.
And get this, I never once ever said Cicada is anonymous. And I told you that when I read anonymous from the big post that all the people are ignoring that says Jeff Sessions is Q. Isn't that interesting? And then it lists all the really big criminals we're going after. And then it says that we had already told the truth about Q before. Because when we were contacted by Cicada, we started telling the truth about it. We were contacting Anonymous. Cicada's not anonymous. We never said Cicada's anonymous. We said Cicada's so bright, Cicada seems to know everything, so Cicada already knew the message in the bottle. And when I told Cicada the message in the bottle, because when we talk, it's usually a group, they all laughed. Because they knew, and they said, did you not get that we put in the new post the prediction of this? So anybody who's able to figure out the new Cicada riddle will see that this was all predicted ahead of time to show that Cicada knew it. Cicada knew it, not because they're anonymous. I'm sorry to have to say this, but they say it themselves. They have psychics who used to work for the government who are what are called objective viewers. They
remote viewers.
Well, technically, in the military they call it remote viewing, but it's called objective viewing technically. But yes, it's the men who stare at goats, what they call remote viewing, and they were staring at the goats to kill them. So these people actually do have capacities to go see the enemy where they're at. They asked me to join that group. I wouldn't. The other group they have is a group of brilliant. Well, there's 3 groups you can go into if you get tested and you can go in. So anyway, these people are brilliant they're brilliant linguists, they're brilliant intelligent, they're brilliant cryptographers. They're brilliant in all these ways, so they know all these things. So we don't know. And the point is, why has not one single person, not one, except the people who don't like you, said, and finally they're laughing, they're going, well, finally someone proved it, holy moly, I knew it was fake from the beginning, la-di-da. How come no Qite points out that all 3 of those sites that we pointed out, which was pointed out to me to prove to us who these people were and what they were doing and that they want to work with us, and this is their vetting. They're vetting themselves for us, proving who they are. We're ignorant about this. We're just saying, as it goes on, this is a war. During this war, you'll see that a lot of shills in the alt media are going down. They're also showing who they are. So now I throw the gauntlet of Q on the ground. We already said we'll debate anybody over SES. No one took it up. I'm going to say now I'll debate anybody on this, and you can come and show me to be ignoramus about certain. So point 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Brilliant stuff. But Once you understand what I just said, all your questions just fade into nothingness. Now, I'm going to go through a couple questions to reiterate my answers to you, but the deal is, you just mixed up a little bit. I can't be working with Anonymous. I don't know what Anonymous is. Now, what we told you before.
I don't think you're smart enough to work for Anonymous.
I don't think I'm smart enough to... I know I'm not smart enough to get into Cicada. Wait, I know that. What do you mean?
Right.
I thought I was for a minute because they were being nice to me, because they were pulling us in to say, let us prove to you who we are.
All we did was build the mothership platform so we could fly this intel around the world with lightning speed.
Yes, and it wasn't because they came to us because of our platform. If I told you the precognitive predictions that they had around all of this, that's what drove it. I know that's impossible to believe. It's impossible. But they've already proven it to us over and over again, so I know it's true. So anyway, the deal is, when you understand, Cicada created the first part of Q, and when they went from 4 to 8, I guess this is a story. I'm not exactly certain, but I think when they changed from 4 to 8 or whatever, or they were compromised at one point, and DeFango tells you all this, and he went and he proved it all. I mean, how can someone say he's lying? He showed you. He showed you every single thing on the computer of screen captures that showed that he did this. You can't deny DeFango. What are you, silly?
Well, see, I kind of look at this relationship he has with that guy. Who was that guy? What's his name?
Cicada.
No. The other guy that did the conversation with you.
We're going to say his name?
Yeah. Was it Jason? Just his first name, Jason. So I get, because he's embroiled with something with DeFango too. And
he tried to kill him. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I'm not kill him. Annihilate him online.
So I thought, well, isn't that odd that Jason would have this incident with DeFango, and now he comes over here to stir up a problem with you, Thomas Paine? So I can't help but wonder, this is just me and my crazy mind, could it be that Jason is part of the takeover of the original Q? He is running part of the Psyop, and that they knew that DeFango was busting them for this, so that they had to have an agent of theirs physically go over and create this distraction with DeFango. Because when I read YouTube comments about DeFango, people are piling on him, and I'm going, what's this about? And then I realized that before we could even figure it out, they had already run their disinformation campaign on DeFango so that he would be an unreliable source. But we're here to say is we saw his information. We see it as reliable and authentic and well thought out, and we're going to present it to you.
Now, DeFango's a wild man. And
so are you.
They call it, I'm wilder than him.
I mean, you should see these blue tick coon hounds we've got here on the conclave. They're all wild, but people, highly intelligent people, have a different way of expressing yourself than...
I'm the spokesperson because I can yell the loudest in the conclave.
Well, you're the spokesperson because you're the most balanced of them.
Thank you, Betsy. I don't believe that's true, but I'm going to take that as a compliment.
I just have to say that about Jason and DeFango.
Yes. Now, what I've noticed in the last days, I haven't reported this to you because I haven't given you a report. I looked up who all this Jason has attacked. He's gone after the good people. And right now he's going after a really good person, and that person seems to be... I'm terrified for them. I'm also terrified for Jason. And as I said in the illegally recorded telephone conversation, which he put out on the internet, which I believe is...
Oh, it is illegal.
Illegal thing.
And yeah.
Right? And I warned him, I said, my brother, I love you. I'm trying to save you. You're in over your head. No, here's what really... Can I tell him what I was really doing?
You know what?
Please?
I really don't want to...
Okay, I won't do that. Let's just say, I threw a piece of meat in with a bunch of junkyard dogs, and they're all fighting. Okay. So that was the thing. Once you get this, Limo Wreck, then you'll understand. So thank you for telling me who Code Monkey is, who Barack is, that Tracy Beans interviewed them, and that they are the people who said that it has been compromised ever since January. So everybody knows it's been compromised, and why wasn't it taken down until all at once, at one time, with our names at the bottom, and that wonderful picture that Jason put me in with a hat. I love that Stetson, Jetson. If I could get that Stetson, Jason, I would really, really be happy. Now, I'm just going to read a couple of these things because some of these are questions, and these are great questions. It says, I've aligned myself with the evil ones. I don't know, Anonymous. I don't know who took it down. I can tell you that the new Anonymous is a psyops. Don't even watch it, folks. It's filled with subliminal programming. You can watch it if you haven't seen one like that, but it may make you want to go find a leak and turn it in and turn yourself in for a crime. Okay, because it's a psyops. And they tried to mimic Cicada this time, and they used clear language. And if you look at, I could analyze the whole thing for psyops. It's psyops from the word go. The temporary trip code. So when you said Q came back on, thank you. I didn't understand what was going on. When they put up the thing that said Jeff Sessions is Clowns in America have taken over this site, and us at the bottom saying we told the truth. I told everyone as I analyzed that, I don't even know what I'm analyzing. I have no idea. I'm looking at the words. So you're right. And I didn't know that you could do such a thing. So he says, using the same trip code, Q took the opportunity to reply to his user that he is full of shit. You failed. Excuse me. That's the only thing in here that you're not making sense about. He didn't fail. All 3 sites went down. Whoever wrote that that he then said you failed, did not fail at all. They're coming up now. I understand that they have a note saying they're moving to a new site. We were told they'd only be down for a day or 2. And then they'll come up again. They say the Great Awakenings board is destroyed or something and they have to go somewhere else. And notice in the Q posts before they did, right after that, or before that, they say, we have been compromised. Everything we talk on has been compromised. Well, who compromised their phones? Who went in and was so powerful, compromised all their computers? If Q knows all things, if Q is so brilliant, if Q is the inside and has the entire presidential executive group behind them, that is 2.5 million people, they can't stop 4chan, 8chan from being comped. They can't stop this. They can't stop their phones being bugged. They can't. They say it. Just read. No one read those texts, by the way. All the Q interpreters slided right over the place where they say we've been compromised. We lost our ability to communicate. We're going down. We lost the Great Awakening site. We're compromised here. We're compromised there. We're compromised in 8chan. 8chan froze. And who was at the top when it froze? Aim for Truth. My sweet little picture of me. And 8chan was talking about us, I guess. I don't know. I can't explain that. I don't know these things. They've all been compromised. Here he says, anyone mentioning AIM on other boards has no bearing. That's incorrect. It said, the thing that was posted said we were correct. But if you're saying that, okay, that's your opinion, fine. Those boards have all been compromised. That's what we said. Q is compromised. And Q is dead because we demonstrated that they don't have any power. And they aren't saying anything. And we proved that they were taken over by a psyops and by all the things. And if you haven't, if you're dropping off now, Limo Rec, then you haven't seen all the evidence. And you say you saw some of it in this week that was posted on that thing. That was whoever posted that was theirs. Cicada and others have given us others that we've posted. And by the way, if you want to know all about the person we were just talking about, we posted a bunch of his stuff too. We're not in a war with him personally, but if he goes after alt media and gets in literally lawsuits and doxing people and destroying their sites, then I had to expose that. Someone did try and pose as Q, but failed, and they can prove it. Okay. You just said in January, he's saying that when Tracy Beans talked to Baruch and Code Monkey, they said that they had already been compromised and they can prove it. Yeah, they were compromised. That was the takeover. Why don't people get this? Tracy Beans, who contacted us, did she want to interview with us? I don't know.
I think so.
Okay, I'll be glad.
I'm not sure.
Tracy?
I can't remember. Sorry, Tracy.
If I don't know if she wanted to. You said she contacted us.
No,
I
I do recall when you first asked. My mind wasn't on it, but yes, she did contact us.
You answered her questions.
Seemed like a very reasonable conversation we had by email, and she has our phone number. We talked on the phone, and of course, if she wants an interview, we'd be happy to give it to her.
Yeah, and you talked with her, and she was satisfied with what you said.
Yes.
But I'm just learning this, so thank you so much, Limo Rec, because you're helping educate me. You're schooling me on this. But the deal is, the trip code in early January was compromised. Okay, that's what he says right here, and that's what people are telling me. That's true. The proof was for us. The proof wasn't for the Qites. The Qites didn't even notice all 3 sites went down. That's how much of the zealots they are. That's how much fundamentalists. These are Q fundamentalists, okay? And they didn't even notice. They didn't even address any of this. They didn't even address the very words of the people who run the site or Q or any of this. except this person, Limo Rec, first person we've seen, actually addresses the content. Is Thomas also saying the board ops have been snuffed out and replaced by an imposter? I have no idea what that means. Thank you. I'll ask about that. I don't know what that means. So why did this video show an actual Q post at all? He's talking about the proof we posted. You can't get the proof unless you solve the puzzle. That's why. So what you get on the surface and what has been told to us on the surface, you have to also solve the puzzle. That's what Cicada does. Cicada is working us through puzzles, but then when we get the proof, we go, oh, whoa, it's the proof. They don't just hand it to you because it has to be hidden, because if it was handed, it would be intercepted. Anybody would know this.
We have very important information. It's very sensitive information that needs to be given to folks out there, and sometimes we have to hide in plain sight. Like for all of you who rant and rave on YouTube, how you want to unsubscribe, let me make sure you understand. We post our material in an open source platform, and we know exactly where it's going. Not exactly, but we know generally that we're speaking to a group of white hats that need our intel. Now, along the way, we were saying such compelling things that other people joined us, and our site begins to build in numbers. But we don't care if our subscriber numbers drop. It's cool, as long as we get our message to our core creators.
We're just telling the truth. That's what we do in all. And if the truth hurts you, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Why would you post a video supposedly about Q when the audio itself was taken from some other video? No. You're missing it again. We were sent that by the collective, the Cicada. I don't even know if they made it. I assume they did. It looks like their stuff. I don't actually know who made it, but it was sent to us to show the Cicada is working with us to help us expose Q. But how much they know, I don't really know. I can't tell you whether they're anonymous. They know anonymous. They control anonymous. Whether they are the WikiLeaks, whether they work with Kim.com, I don't know. I can only speculate on some of this because I haven't passed the friggin' riddle. I only got the words.
You're not smart enough?
I'm not smart enough.
Okay. So for the rest of the people going, well, then I'll never figure it out. Don't worry. Just follow Truth News headlines. Every day we give you great headlines, and you can follow along with us.
Point 4, you want to know why Cicada's not on 8chan? I don't know if Cicada's on 8chan, 4chan, 1chan, 2chan. I don't even know how to read or look at 8chan. They have to send it to me, show it to. I hate technology. If I touch technology, it usually explodes. So they have to even keep it at a distance from me. I don't even know how to use this microphone. Okay? So the deal is, I have no friggin' idea. I don't know if Cicada's on 8chan. I doubt they are. Because they say it's too open of a platform, and they got all this secret stuff, and they don't want it to be exposed. So Betsy and Thomas have made no connection between Cicada 3301 and white hats fighting the deep state. The riddles are all riddles about fighting the deep state. They're predictions that were proven accurate long before they passed. So if you get the riddles and if you go and decode these, you get all that.
And just because you, this person who's writing, don't know the connection doesn't mean that there's a connection, because, why would we show a connection if there was one?
Go to Defango, slow down his videos. I did. Read every word of the codes that he broke. Read them. They're the best thing out there. They make Q look like garbage. Sorry, but they predict things. And I'm sitting here going, whoa, that was predicted in those, and it's now happening just days later. So we know, because these are riddlers, and they don't want the idiots at NSA to break their riddles. Okay, so have they, are they white hats? Yeah, they have. I'm sorry. This was a question. I was a little cruel on him there. Yes, they have. They've done so much. It's unbelievable. I didn't know any of this. Go look at Defango's posts and slow them down and read the words that he decodes, which he's one of the only people who was able to break one of the codes completely, because there's so many. Okay. I hope so, as they would be valuable rather than posting sophisticated cipher puzzles to solve. Well, that's the point. The cipher puzzles are doing two things. Okay? Do you remember in the French Resistance, it was we broadcast from Britain and from America, from our troops all over Europe, and there were secret codes to the spies. And so they would listen to the radio and get their instructions, and no one knew this. This is what's going on with Cicada. Now, if you're not smart enough to figure them out, you're not going to get the messages. Thank you, Defango, for helping me see the messages. I did not decode them. I read the words, and I can tell you, If you read those words, you will see the exact same thing that happened with Q
Are you
in the
going to
beginning.
give me that video so I can link it below in the description box?
You already posted it.
Okay.
And then ad revenue, that people are doing this for Q. We're not doing Q. Why do you think we never addressed Q once? Never do we use Q in anything, because Betsy wouldn't do it, we wouldn't do it. No. We're not making any money at this. We don't care about the clicks. We don't get paid, and you couldn't give us money, okay? Because, can I say this?
Well, I don't know what you're going to say, but I can always...
We have a philanthropist, and that philanthropist takes care of us. And now we have so many people helping us that it's astounding. Betsy's team is growing so fast. I don't know all those people. I can't read all of it. Every one of them, no one's being paid a thing.
Right. You only step up if you're a patriot and you want to serve.
And I imagine that Cicada is completely the same way. They're like a collective, right? But led by a certain person.
But we don't ask you to go out into the streets and march and this. We say, let's use your higher thinking skills. Let's dig into some of these indictable evidence documents that have been collected on our site and get some real teeth behind getting these criminals indicted and put away. That's what we're about.
Now, Betsy, we're doing this because I said I would give you my opinion on the Q drops from now on, so that it could help red pill people. Well, there's no Q drops right now. Until there's another Q drop, we're not going to do this. But if people send us in these great questions, I'll address the questions, because for those who are still listening, thank you for putting up with my yelling. Thank you for putting up with my meandering. And thank you, Betsy, for keeping me on track. But the deal is what's happening now, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I have never seen collectives that are coming forward like this. I didn't know there was a real resistance. I kind of thought, we were on the front line. We were going down. All I can say is thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for those people who are handling the red pill and the horrible feeling that it gives you when you red pill. And all I can say is thank you that the Calvary has showed up.